Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner, the final edition of Football Coach's Corner for the 2008 season. My name's Andy Bortz, glad to have you with us. And also on the set with me today is the guy who coached the team to 5 consecutive home wins for the season, all 5 home games, Coach Jeff Hand. Coach, thanks for being here with us today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Let me ask, because the last 2 home games, undoubtedly the most exciting games for the Titans this season, one with a cliffhanger field goal, and the other one with the defense putting up an impressive stand to stop the Grove City Wolverines from possibly taking the win in the game. Which one was more exciting?
Well, they both were very, very exciting, and it's always great to get a home victory, but when they're tight like that, I certainly keep the fans in the stands for sure.
Let me ask how special it was to see the defense able to put up an impressive stop like that, because Grove City was driving down the field in that last game. They were literally about 3 inches away from the goal line, and they were able to just hit their gaps and stop the run. How impressive was that to you?
Wow, that was a great defensive effort by everybody, but especially the defensive line and the linebackers for sure.
You're going to see how equally matched these teams were as we take you back to the Grove City Westminster Titan football game. Let's check out the first half highlights.
The Westminster Titans trying to go undefeated at home and go for their 7th win in a row at Harold Burry Stadium. And the first highlight is going to be Kevin Franz to Chad Rossitelli. This is the only highlight, though, that you're going to see of him in the game. Whoop, whoop, look at all the moves he's making. But unfortunately, a couple plays later, he injured his knee, and he was out for the rest of the game. But it was the running game also for the Titans that was showing up in this one. Nick McCloskey with a nice gain up the middle. And then later in the drive, McCloskey with a nice cutback gets through the middle and ends up at pay dirt. But hang on 1 second. Garrett Franz called for holding, and that's going to wipe away that touchdown run. So the Titans going to have to regroup and try it again. But Nick McCloskey is going to say, you know what? They might have called this one back, but we're just going to run it in anyway. From 9 yards out, Nick McCloskey basically does the same thing he did before, and he ends up at pay dirt and puts the Titans up 6-0. Trevor Young makes the extra point, making it 7-0. Andrew DiDonato for the Grove City Wolverines has had himself a great game too. Passes to Luke O'Hara for 12 yards. DiDonato was very mobile in this game, again finding his receiver. This time it's Stephen Mercer. He was the go-to guy for the game for Grove City besides DiDonato on the ground. But when it came to kicking field goals, they just weren't going in. Craig Weishaus doesn't get any points for hitting the post, and the Wolverines still scoreless. But on their next drive, DiDonato once again finding Stephen Mercer, and Mercer had himself just a great game going over the 100-yard mark in catches. And again, on this drive, just finding all the seams up the middle, and DiDonato finding him, but Craig Weishaus this time trying a field goal from 31, pushes it wide right, so Westminster goes in the locker room with a shutout on the way.
Coach, we saw how close the first half score was, 7-0 Titans up. Talk about the significance of the rivalry a little bit. All the way back in the 1890s was when this started. Talk about how much of a critical point it is to have an advantage like that going into halftime on a team that's only 12 miles down the road.
Well, it's definitely great to have an advantage going into halftime, and I think that gives our guys the confidence. And yet, I think on both sides of the ball, we still didn't play great football. I still don't think that we were playing great defense because they were moving the ball. Fortunately, they missed two field goals, and but offensively, we were putting it together at times, but we knew that the second half we had to step it up on both sides. So that's definitely probably the best way you want to go in. You're in the lead, but you're not playing as well as you can in that game.
It's actually a perfect transition to my next question, because the week before this game was a bye week for the team. So how do you prepare a team in a bye week for a game like this?
Well, I mean, it's the Grove City game. It's a big game for us. It's a rivalry to a lot of people, especially the guys on the team. They know a lot of people, a lot of the players on the opposing team, and you know, there's very similar type of students at the 2 different institutions.
Now we saw even during the W&J game a couple weeks prior to this that the offense was able to find some very nice passing lanes throughout there to work with. Was it the same trend that you saw in this game?
Yes, I mean, our passing game's been fairly consistent all year long. When we make good decisions, we certainly get the ball where we need to get it to.
Now, we saw Chad Rossatelli. We saw one highlight of him in that first half, but on one of the plays also, he ended up actually, looks like he tripped over the turf, according to Coach Scooter Renninger. What's the status of his injury?
Well, he's still dinged up. We don't know 100% if he's going to be playing on Saturday, but you know, he got dinged up pretty good, and but he's a tough kid, and he'll be bouncing back, if not this game, in the near future, around in the off season.
Now, was that a very big effect on the offensive strategy from that point forward when he was out of the game?
Oh, well, when any time that, you know, a player the caliber of Chad goes down, along with another number of players on our offense, it throws a wrinkle into the game plan, but you have to iron that wrinkle out and move forward.
Now, Grove City didn't have their running back Mercer in there, but they were able to find other ways to get their offense to roll, and they actually probably should have come out with 6 points at least by the time that first half was over. What were they doing well offensively that was allowing them to move the ball?
Well, they were sustaining drives and moving the ball down the field, and they were doing that with the quarterback's feet, with the quarterback being patient, staying in the pocket, finding the open receiver. You know, they were able to run the ball, and, you know, when they needed to run the ball. You know, they were keeping drives alive. But then, I mean, you have to give the defense credit that we stepped up and made stops in the red zone. And it's not easy to make a stop in the red zone, that's for sure, especially when someone on the opposing side is smelling that end zone.
Now, talking about the red zone play of Grove City, that seemed like when they hit that red zone, they just couldn't get any farther. Was it just a product of good defense, or should they have probably been trying to run the ball more since they were having such success with it?
Well, I think, and I hate to, you know, second guess what another coach does. I mean, you know, he's got to do what he's got to do offensively, and I always think that it's a product of us playing great defense, of making the stops, but you know, the reality of the situation is you're the analyst, you can sit back and analyze those type of things.
Well, you mentioned great defense, and our fans are about to see some great defense as they check out the second half of this one, as Grove City's trying their best to whittle down the deficit.
The Grove City Wolverines coming out of the locker room trying to erase a 7-0 deficit. And they're kicking off to the Titans. Titans really didn't have much to scream about in the return game this season, but watch our guest today, John Gubish, rumble up the left sideline and take it 41 yards across midfield into Wolverine territory. And first play from scrimmage, offense going right to work. Watch Nick McCloskey bounce it to the outside and pick up 28 yards on this play. Nick McCloskey actually eclipsed the 2,000-yard career rush mark, and he's only a junior. So that set up this Trevor Young field goal from 26 yards. It's good. He's been quite a story this season as a freshman. Next drive, fumble. This time it's the Wolverines coughing the ball up. Clayton Hall fumbles the ball. Tony Andreasse comes up with it, and the Titans are in business. But later in third, Andrew DiDonato still going back to work. This time completes this pass to Blaine Miller, 19 yards. He rumbles his way up toward the 10-yard line, and Blaine Miller once again going to get the ball from 4 yards out. This time Jordan Blinn can't bring him down, and the Wolverines get on the board. It's 10-7 Titans lead later in the third quarter. Naked boot, and Kevin Franz finds Gary Hutzler. He was able to hang on to the ball after the play, though, so the Titans continue to drive downfield. Nick McCloskey bouncing it to the end zone. He rushed for over the century mark in this game. A touchdown for Nick McCloskey, putting the Titans up 17-7. Fourth quarter, Wolverines trying to mount a comeback. Andrew DiDonato having his way with the offense, and he was getting to the 30-yard line at that run. And Blaine Miller again going to drive forward and pull the Wolverines to within 3 points. So DiDonato and the Wolverines once again finding a way to come back in the game. This pass now complete once again, and DiDonato going to finish the drive off. Mario Camerata can't get him out of bounds, and so Wolverines take a 21-17 lead, and now the suspense builds. DiDonato can't convert the fourth down. The defense holds, and now the Titans driving downfield, and it's Kevin Franz finding, guess who? Justin Morgano coming in to replace Chad Rossatelli, and it's Morgano again, this time in the corner of the end zone, untouched, and he puts the Titans up by a field goal. It's 24-21, and now the suspense begins. DiDonato looks downfield, and he passes the ball to Zach Sumi for 18 yards, and the rest is history. And now we'll see what they do. DiDonato going to try and sneak it in. I don't think he got it.
I don't think so either. I don't think he got it.
I don't think he got it. Time's up. The game's over. The Titans win.
See, you could have won the grand prize if you had just picked quarterback Steve.
And for the second game in a row, it's a mobbing on the field.
What can you say? 2 games in a row, 2 big mobbings on the field, but in good fashion. 1 game with a cliffhanger field goal. This one, the defense coming up big. How huge was it to be able to watch those guys stop the ball from going in when it was just an inch away from that goal line, literally?
Well, most of the time on a quarterback sneak, you can really tell within the first, few instances of the play. And he didn't get a great surge, and that was because our defensive line did a great job. And then he didn't get a secondary push because our linebackers did a great job of providing help over top.
Now, Coach Fusco and I, during the game, were looking at the play, and we kind of thought that they rushed up to that line of scrimmage rather quickly. I didn't know if they were trying to catch you guys off guard or not, but what allowed you guys to be able to not be fooled by that quick rush up to the line of scrimmage?
Well, they've done that before. I mean, that's something that they have done. And actually, when they rushed up to the line of scrimmage like that, I thought they were trying to do one of their trick plays, because that's what they do on one of their trick plays. And they'll spread an offensive lineman out. And I thought that's what they were going to do. But then I quickly turned my thought to, there's no way you would try a trick play on the last play of the game. But that's what they were trying to do, is catch us off guard.
Now, Coach, you were talking to me off camera a little bit about the play of the defense on the 4th down stop when DiDonato was not able to get to the first down stakes, and that's what allowed for the touchdown drive to be set up. And you get a hero like Justin Morgano, who comes in there for Chad Rossitelli and is making all these huge catches. Talk about his performance in the game.
Well, Justin, we knew had some great talent, and I was telling some people after the game, I don't remember the last time against man-to-man coverage that I've seen somebody so open. And I still can't quite figure out how he got so open. I think he made a good move, but and it's not like it's a route we haven't shown on film. But he was open, and it's almost nerve-wracking when you're open that long, and the ball's coming down. And but he made the catch.
Well, let's talk about nerve-wracking for a second. We're going to turn the tables a little bit. Let's say that was the Titan offense at the 1-inch line. You just needed a field goal to tie it. You had the momentum. In this case, Grove City had the momentum driving down the field. Would you have tried to kick the field goal and maybe take it to overtime with momentum on your side?
Well, I think, it's always hard to second-guess what an opposing coach does. And I believe that, with our kicking game and the kickers that we have, that going into overtime, we would have an advantage. But in reality, is if we were moving the ball as well as we were there, you might just roll the dice and go for the win.
Well, Coach, it was great to see the Titans come out with the win, and we're going to talk to you a little bit later in the show. We've got your Pack Report coming up next. Stay tuned. You're watching Coach's Corner.
Ready to get your broadcasting career off and rolling? Then it's time to explore your options by being a part of Titan Radio at Westminster College.
We try to run the radio station as closely as what might be found in the real world.
There's student anchors, student reporters, student producers.
It's really hands-on, and you learn a lot your first year.
From keeping the community informed,
I'm Pamela Marlowe with the Titan Radio News Update.
To keeping the community entertained.
Reuben 5, going out on tour again.
You'll get all the radio experience you could ask for, and more, only at Westminster College.
If we can't beat the competition's price, we'll just give you the car.
But a vehicle is more than price.
A whole lot more.
Gio Crivelli consistently invests in manpower, training, and equipment to deliver car buyers peace of mind.
From our state-of-the-art repair and service garage to our award-winning auto body repair center, Gio Crivelli is prepared to earn your trust.
Gas, stingy, and pallet, the rugged Silverado, Gio Crivelli Chevrolet, Route 18, Newcastle.
And remember, if we can't beat the competition's price, we'll just give you the car.
Good evening, football fans. Christina Rossetto here, and welcome to the final edition of Pack Report for this 2008 football season. This week could not have been complete without an upset, and sure enough, there was one. Pack champion Thomas More was upended by Geneva College, thrashing their previously undefeated Pack record Just a week ago, the 23rd ranked Saints were handed the PAC championship hardware in their thrilling win over W&J. But Thomas More could not hold on for the complete undefeated PAC record, dropping one to the Golden Tornadoes 17-13. Geneva drew first blood on a 1-yard touchdown run from Matt Dean. The Golden Tornadoes would go on to strike again, but not until the second quarter when Nick DiPietro nailed a 28-yard field goal. Geneva's defense then held Thomas More for the remainder of the quarter and secured a 10-0 lead at the half. The Saints were not done, though, and cut the lead to 3 late in the third when Trevor Stellman connected on a 14-yard pass to Nick Dew for the touchdown. Geneva fired back when Dean scored once again, this time from 17 yards out for the Golden Tornado touchdown early in the fourth quarter. Thomas More was able to score once more when Anthony Knott dashed 38 yards for the touchdown, but the Saints could not hold on for the win. Thomas More was led by quarterback Trevor Stellman with 157 yards, 1 touchdown, and 17 additional rushing yards. Geneva's Matt Dean, though, was the difference maker in this game, rushing for 84 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Saints will battle crosstown rival College of Mount St. Joseph on Saturday, while the Golden Tornadoes will host your Westminster Titans on Saturday. Kickoff from Reeves Field in Beaver Falls will be at 1:30 p.m. Number 18, W&J couldn't get down after their loss to Thomas More. They had no trouble this past week with Bethany as they routed the Bison 54-7. W&J secured 41 unanswered points, starting with a 5-yard touchdown run from running back Kurt Jones. Quarterback Bobby Swallow then took over, lofting a 63-yard scoring pass to wideout Craig Besong to give the Presidents 14. The W&J defense then forced a fumble on the Bethany 22-yard line, which led to a Derek Taylor 22-yard touchdown run on the very next play. W&J continued their scoring ways when Jones ran in yet another touchdown from 4 yards out and added a 2-point conversion rush to give the Presidents 28. After another Bethany punt, Swallow tossed a 14-yard fourth-down touchdown pass to wideout Luke Espy for the score. The Presidents then cushioned their lead even more when Taylor took a screen pass 70 yards downfield for another W&J touchdown. The Bison were able to finally get on the board shortly before halftime with a 2-yard touchdown run by Randy Rankin. But W&J could not be stopped, scoring on their next drive, moving 57 yards in just 38 seconds, culminating with a Bobby Swallow 7-yard pass to David Ravita to give the Presidents a 47-7 halftime lead. A relatively uneventful second half only produced one more W&J score, this one a 4-yard touchdown run by Jacob McBride. Kurt Jones led the way for the Presidents in the victory with 112 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bethany QB Chad Smith tallied 122 yards in the loss. The Bison will host St. Vincent this week, while W&J will hit the road to take on Waynesburg in the battle that has now been dubbed the Division III Backyard Brawl. Speaking of Waynesburg, finally this week they came away with a high-scoring 50-35 win against host Teal. The Tomcats jumped out to a 7-0 lead on a Willie Bova pass to wideout Brendan Taylor from 6 yards out for the touchdown. From there, it was all Waynesburg as the Jacket offense erupted behind quarterback Brad Dawson and scored 23 unanswered points before the half. Jacket running back Justin Falcon literally did all the legwork for Waynesburg, scoring on runs of 1, 5, and 24 yards. Leading 20-7, Waynesburg continued their scoring when Brian Arbs drilled a 28-yard field goal to give the Jackets 23 at the half. With that field goal, Arbs broke the record for field goals made in a season with 12 for Waynesburg. Teal responded in the third quarter when Bova and Taylor connected once again for a 10-yard touchdown pass, cutting the lead to 9. The Jackets could not be stopped, though. On their next possession, Falcon scored his 4th touchdown of the game, a 14-yard run to give Waynesburg 30. The Tomcats would not lay down, though, and went to work again, mustering another touchdown, this one a 1-yard touchdown run by Bryce Murdiff to cut the lead once again to 9. The Waynesburg offense continued to churn at the hands of Dawson, who found halfback Chris Smithley for a 9-yard touchdown pass to further cushion the Jackets' lead. Dawson went on to rush in another Waynesburg touchdown from 2 yards out and connected with Bobby Francis on their next possession from 20 yards out for the final 2 scores of the game, sealing the deal for the Jacket victory. Teal closed out all scoring for the game when Murdiff ran in another 2-yard touchdown and Bova found Hiro Amano for a 19-yard score to give the Tomcats 35. Brendan Taylor led Teal with 112 yards and 2 touchdowns, But it was Justin Falcon who was the real story of the game, scoring 4 touchdowns and tallying 72 yards. Tia will have a short trip to Grove City this week as they take on the Wolverines in the annual Mercer County Cup. And now for the NFL Pick'em Challenge. We've been off for a couple of weeks, so here are the final results. Coach Han undoubtedly won this year's challenge, picking 19 out of a possible 27. I finished with 15, and Andy rounded it out with 8. Coach Han certainly has won the bragging rights here and obviously knows more about picking winners than Andy and myself. So congratulations, Coach Han. Well, that is going to do it for this final Pack Report of the season. Thank you for joining me all season and allowing me to bring you all the Pack action from week to week. Don't touch that dial. The county line is coming up at 7:30 with all your latest scores in Titantown Sports with Melissa Maines. Don't go anywhere. More Coach's Corner is on the way.
Do you want to learn how to broadcast a big game just like the pros at ESPN? If so, the Broadcast Communications Department at Westminster College is where you need to be. At Westminster, you learn what it takes to be live out in the field. Westminster lets you learn all aspects, from behind the scenes in the truck, directing and running instant replay, to filming the action with a camera or announcing play-by-play. So if you want hands-on, live experience, check out the Broadcast Communications major at Westminster College. For more information, visit us online at titanradio.net.
So you're a huge Western Pennsylvania football fan? Then ncnewsonline.com is for you. Crunch is an award-winning internet site of the Newcastle News devoted to area high school football, where you'll get a daily fix of schedules, scores, rosters, highlights, opinion, and player profiles, plus video and photo galleries. Online at ncnewsonline.com. It's football coverage as it happens, designed for you, the dedicated fan. Crunch online at ncnewsonline.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Coach's Corner. I'm Andy Bortz, and this is our final player segment for the football edition of Coach's Corner. And doing the honor for this game is the guy who wears number 13, and it's had a very quiet season, but it's been a very good one, John Gubish. John, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Talking about being on the squad, you've made some pretty big catches in many games this season, even during the Bethany game when it came down to the cliffhanger field goal. Made a lot of good catches to set the Titans up for that. What's it like being one of those go-to receivers on the squad?
It's a great feeling, just knowing that your coaches and your teammates have all the confidence in you to make a big play at the end of the game. It's just a great feeling.
And I mean, you've made a lot of big plays all season, but what do you think the team has done overall to progressively get better as the games have gone on?
I think our fourth quarter play has been huge this year. When our offense needed a big stop from the defense, they provided it. And when our defense was slacking a little bit, our offense picked it up.
Now, it seems like in every game you're able to find holes in the defenses, you're running those crisp routes. What's the secret to John Gubish's success as a receiver?
I don't know about a secret, but just going out there having fun, playing the game I love.
I asked your teammate Chad Rossatelli that much earlier in the season, and he said pretty much the same thing. There's really no secret to that. But you've played undoubtedly a huge role all season, and we even saw it in the Grove City game too. So I have to ask, what's it like to be on the sideline when you're watching the defense try to put up a stand like they did against Grove City, and then you're all able to just watch the moment and get it and know that you were a part of getting that set up?
Probably the same way they felt about us when they were on the sideline. So not that much, just nerve-wracking. So
now, the relationship between quarterback and receiver, it's one of those things where it seems like it takes a while for it to come and be cohesive. What do you look for when you're trying to develop a relationship with a quarterback?
Chemistry is a huge thing. I mean, he expects the receiver to be somewhere, and we expect the ball to be on time somewhere. So,
having that experience, have you really been able to show your ability yet? I mean, because you've got another year to go. So do you feel like your senior year is going to be the best year for you?
I think the chemistry is going to grow between me and Kevin. I still think he thinks I'm Brett Ziegler. I mean, Ziggy was an outstanding player, and he was more faster than me. He was more vertical, where I'm more side to side, so two different receivers.
What were you able to learn from Brett Ziegler during your time when he was here?
Just work ethic. He was a great player, and I'll take everything from him, you know.
What's it like to have a chemistry and a bond with not just the quarterback but the other receivers on the team? Because everybody this year seems like they've been getting a chance to touch the ball and they've been cashing in when they get it. So what's it like to be able to not only have confidence in yourself but the other receivers as well?
We work together good as a group. We're real close, and we go out to eat Friday night. You know, we're just a good group of friends.
That's a great relationship to have, and what do you envision for your goals for next season? Because, you know, there's only one game left. What do you think about when you think, okay, what are we going to do next season?
Next season, I think the 5 home games is a big carryover to next year. Maybe, hopefully, we get a few road wins on next year. So.
All right, John. Well, there's one game to go. It's going to be against Geneva, and we wish you best of luck against it. And thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you.
We'll be back with the final segment of our final episode of Football Coaches Corner for 2008 in just a moment. Don't go away.
How would you like to sit in a college classroom where you know everyone's name?
Oh, hey, how's it going?
At Westminster College, our students aren't just another face in a lecture hall of 200. They're people, individuals with a smile and a story eager to know you.
So the other day I was sitting around...
Learn the skills you need while having a close relationship with your teachers and classmates at Westminster. So if you too want to be known by name, check out Westminster on the web at westminster.edu.
And welcome back to our final segment of our Football Coaches Corner for 2008. Coach Jeff Hand back on the hot seat. Coach, undefeated at home, haven't picked up a win on the road yet this season. What's it going to take to beat a team like Geneva to be able to put a W in the road win column?
Well, it's going to take a great effort, and it's going to take consistent play by our defense, and it's also going to take a special teams play. I really believe that. I think that in this game, I think that we're getting better on all of our special teams, and I think that this is a week when something big can happen.
We even saw in the highlights our guest John Gubich had a very good return on the kickoff in the second half there. So I guess the question I have about the special teams is that what part of the special teams do you think needs to be the most effective to beat Geneva?
Well, I think we need to be sound in all of them. I mean, that's definitely crucial, but we're continuing to make more and more plays on special teams. As you saw against Grove City, we recovered a punt on our punt team, and we were able to get a good solid return on our kickoff return team. And I think that that's an area that we've improved on, and I think that if we can get a play out of our special teams, it'll be big in this game.
And not only special teams but defense. What kind of momentum is that defense going to carry after that spectacular win last weekend?
Well, we hope a lot. I mean, I think that they have a tremendous amount of confidence in themselves, and I know that they know that they can make plays and they can make stops when they need to. It's just a matter of doing it consistently.
Well, Coach, I have to tell you, it's been very entertaining being on the show with you this season. Congratulations on being undefeated at home and providing a lot of excitement for those fans, because really got a lot of good, exciting home field play this year.
Yeah, it's been a great year, and thanks for having me all year long.
It was a pleasure, and we'll be seeing you all for Basketball Coaches Corner coming soon. But meanwhile, football season, one game left. Titans going to take on Geneva, and we'll be seeing you soon.
All I could think when I was watching her blog yesterday, is stop the cameras,